And there's like a certain level of enjoyment from when you...
Hey there! So I know this is not what I normally do, and I know that I'm kind of cramped in the frame here, but I'm going to try making a cooking video for no other reason than I'm up at 1 a.m. I'm going to be making two things. Firstly, we're going to be doing a pizza, which I'll be going over in a second. Secondly, I'm going to be making a breakfast Sammy, one of my favorite foods to make when I'm feeling snack. So, how about I tell you what I'm going to be using to make my pizza?
You're going to need a crust of some kind, whether it's store-bought or homemade, but for this last-minute video, before this second dose of COVID vaccine comes in and puts me out for a week, we're going to be using store-bought. Brand, not important, but for now, this makes it easier on me, and it says to preheat to 450 and cook for 8 to 10 minutes, so that's easy enough. Next, you're going to want a selection of cheeses. You probably don't need more than one, but I'm going to mix it up and get some cheddar and Parmesan in there. You want a cheese shredder, you want something for the cheese to go on, and the only thing of significance to mention here is that I'm specifically picking up cheese that has been aged for several months because... So if you have a similar problem, check out things that have been aged for like 6 months, just to be safe. Next up, you need to be concerned about your sauce. But I just have here a mixture of tomato paste and store-bought pizza sauce. I have not made pizza sauce from scratch yet. Someday that'll be another endeavor, but for now, this'll do. You want to mix tomato paste and sauce to your taste. It can get thick or smooth. Just depends, but one thing you're going to want to do, which I did not do my first try, but will this time, is add your own herbs and spices, such as red pepper, though some people agree you should put that on afterwards on top of the cheese. Oregano, classic Italian flavor, and I don't think basil is... I'm actually thinking I'm going to put this one back. I think I grabbed the wrong thing looking for cilantro. Lastly, the toppings you're going to want on your pizza. I'm just going to be a basic bitch and go for pepperoni because this salami gets sweaty and I don't like greasy pizza. The oven's preheating, I have all my ingredients out, and I just need to rip it all apart and slap it together. So first things first, I think just to preserve a little bit of freshness that doesn't exist because it's a store-bought prepackaged crust, I'm going to go ahead and shred the cheese first and mix together the pizza sauce seasonings, and then we'll go ahead and put it all together in a minute. So before this thing hits the beat done, let's get cracking on putting it together. If you're like me and you're wondering how the guys do it in the restaurant so quickly, I just know that it seems to help if you hold the grater vertical and just find a good grip on the cheese. It does not take very much pressure at all to shred it. You just really got to catch it on the grooves and just over and over rake it. Just rake it. Drag it across the grate. And frankly, you really don't need much cheese for pizza. If you put too much cheese on there, it gets really oily and it sweats and it gets wet and makes the whole thing kind of like soggy and removes a lot of the flavor. So don't go too crazy on the cheese. Like I'm stopping here because I'm going to be putting a second kind of cheese in. Now the second kind of cheese, I got this because I'm also going to be using the cheddar on the breakfast sandwich. Oh, cool. It's not easily separated. Dank cheese, wet. Okay, and then we are just going to rake it against the grate. It is really soft. Did not expect it to be so slimy. Holy shit. As you can probably tell, I cook a lot. I'm one of those guys that wants to wear gloves while he cooks. The feeling afterwards where you have to go wash your hands. I hate that. I hate that a lot. Okay. Now, I have no idea how to mix ratios, so we're just going to do pinches and dashes. Maybe, as Charles Boyle says it, always hand a pan. I've got no idea. And red peppers, because I love this shit. Ah. Probably good. I don't want to shake it. I'm probably just going to stir it. I'm just going to use this knife because it actually reaches down in here. You can see season's kind of sticking to the side there. Trying to get it down to the bottom of the jar. Alright. I mean, it's different. See how I like it after I cook it. Sauce it, cheese it. Now, one thing I've learned from the other times I've done this, you don't want to go ham on sauce. Like, I'll probably accidentally put too much on here, but this is probably enough. There are better utensils to do this, because you'll see so much of it just kind of like sticking this ladle. Not even a ladle. Sorry, what is this? Spatula? Kind of. Yeah, that was dumb. But I don't want hella crust, so we're going to make sure the sauce gets to the edge. Try to evenly spread the sauce. so it's not all like packed in one spot, obviously. All right, sauce. That's pretty good sauce. I'm getting better at this. Next, let's get the cheese on there. Mix it around just a little bit because there are 2 flavors. If you think there's too little, I promise you, it's probably not. Don't overdo it. It spreads out, and too much cheese winds up making it real nasty. Unless you get like the right kind of cheese or you know what you're doing, which I don't, then you probably want to do less is more on pizza, honestly. Finally, let's get our toppings on. And like I said, for this pizza, for my pizza, I am a basic bitch, and I'm just gonna put pepperoni on this thing. I don't want to go ham on veggies and shit until I can get a basic cheese and pepperoni pizza tasting baller. This is probably too many peps, but they're already out of the bag, and I'm not gonna put them back. So here we are. Your move, future me. Filthy casual. Can't even get out of bronze.
Do you want to fucking tango past me? I have every embarrassing photo of you to date, including the one when you were 4 years old and picking your nose in the local newspaper. Do you really want to dance? You 1 a.m. pizza making bitch?
Alright. Pizza's assembled. It's on the pan. The oven is preheated at 450. So we should just be able to put it in, wait 8 to 10 minutes, pull it out, be good to go. While I put this in, I'm going to get started on the breakfast Sammy too. In for 10 minutes, let's go. Okay, breakfast sandwiches are a lot easier. You still need your cheese, and you need bread, obviously, of your choice, some kind, bagels, whatever your substitute for bread is if you're on a no-carb diet. Sometimes you can use bacon. In a pinch, you can use lunch meat. It's just protein to go with the eggs. So you got the basics in there. Egg, meat, cheese, breakfast sandwich. Toast the bread, however you want to do it. Butter it, fry it on the pan, put it in the toaster, whatever you prefer. Get it crispy to your preferences. And then the actual cooking can start. Dang, fries are done. Well, pizza. One thing I have done off camera and away from my lens is spray the pan. So you have some lubricant there so things don't stick to the surface. Spread it around, a nice coat. You don't want too much on this also. If you put too much on here, it could overcook and make a lot of smoke. Depending on what you use to lubricate, butter and oil especially. If you burn it too high, then you're going to put off your smoke detector, which I've learned the hard way over many years. Finally figured it out. Yeah. I'm making one sandwich, so I'm only going to need 2 eggs. Crack it and sploosh. Crack it and sploosh. Now, I'm not an expert, but I do know that you want to let it completely cook long enough on the bottom where if you try to get underneath it with a spatula, it's not going to, you don't want it runny. You want like a solid surface underneath so it'll lift everything up. So you want to leave it alone for a while. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. You won't burn the eggs too quick here. You got some grace period. Always have paper towels. Paper towels in the kitchen are amazing. It's way more important to your final product that the eggs don't get all over the place. You break them, become just half-baked scrambled eggs. So just leave it, let the heat do its work, let the bottom become a solid object before you try to flip it. All I'm doing here is trying to keep all of the egg in one spot, so it doesn't just turn into one long egg. You can see these crispy flakes here. This is what happens when you put too much of the spray, the Spam, whatever you're using to lubricate on. I think this primarily happens with the artificial stuff. Butter doesn't really do this, it burns. The fun thing about eggs is they like to hold a shape really well if you just let them, you just hold them in place for a bit. So the problem I'm running into right now is that the shape of this pan is up in the middle, because that's just how it works. More support in the middle. So they've run off to the side and they're just cooking real slow. So just lean into that. You cook slow. Don't blast it on high. Something we can do to multitask is take your bread, whatever thing you're going to be using to actually make the sandwich part of the sandwich, put that in the pan and melt the cheese onto it. I went ahead and cut this, or shredded it rather, off screen because this shit is sticky and gooey and slimy, and I frankly do not want that all over my camera. I never really feel pressured to rush the eggs, especially on medium and low temperatures. So I feel pretty okay with just letting it sit there. Like I'm okay with well done eggs, but normally I can't ever cook my eggs long enough to get them not runny, which is what I want. I want that ooey gooey when I bite into it. So I'm just gonna let it be for now. Don't need to rush. One thing I will do is to become a lot more wieldy. Especially if you're multitasking on the pan, you separate them. Don't try to flip 2 yolks at once. Gonna have a bad time. When you flip the egg and you hear it sizzling, leave it. Don't move it. If you move it, that's when you fuck up the egg. Let it cook without breaking yolk. Leave it. Leave it. If you leave it, it'll seal itself up and it'll move again. Just leave it. I'll move this in the middle though, so hopefully the cheese melts a little faster. Okay, so what I'm going to do is put these eggs on top of the cheese here, and hopefully that will help the cheese melt. So I think these are done. Yeah. Pro tip, don't put a hot pan in the sink. But what we're doing now is we're going to take the other piece of bread here, and I already put ham, the lunch meat, on here. I do 2-3 pieces folded over just to give it a little more volume, but bacon works just as fine, less lunch meat's just fine. It's personal taste. It's your breakfast sandwich. You're not going to make it wrong. You put whatever you want on it. As you can see, one complete breakfast Sammy. Okay, it's now 2 in the morning. The food's done. I haven't made a breakfast sandwich in a while. I definitely don't make a lot of pizza. But so far it looks good. See how it turns out. way better than last time. Way more subdued. It's not greasy at all. There's the spice. Cheese. I can finally taste cheese without worrying about getting sick. Plus, I can find pepperoni. Could be crispier. Could work on that. The sauce is okay. I can make better sauce. Next time, I think I'm going to make my own dough, because making my own dough was banging the last time I did that. That made great pizza. If I can find a better recipe for sauce, and I make my own dough, I think this is going to take this pizza to a whole new level. Breakfast Sammy, which I'm going to eat with a plate under me, because these eggs can get ooey gooey. So good though. Beats eating fast food every night of the week too. Cooking your own food at home is just so validating, man. And that's why I like doing it. It makes me feel good that I'm making my own thing. It's healthier, pretty much no matter how you look at it. It makes you feel like you're learning a new skill, and learning new stuff is what motivates me to do things. I love figuring out new things to do those things better, doing them with people, sharing it with people, showing people how to do it, explaining it to them, sharing those experiences with, like, together, simultaneously. So happy. So happy. So, sandwich is good, pizza's good. I'm not eating all this tonight. I just figured if I'm cooking, I might as well do it. I hope this helped. I hope it looked tasty. Hope it inspired you to make your own sandwiches. And if you want to see more like this, let me know. I'm still figuring out what I want to do. I'm gonna make these no matter what, though. These are banging.
I'm gonna go watch Twitch.
This one's going out to all the algorithms listening out there. If you like this video, go ahead and leave it a like and a comment. If you want to see more from me, go ahead and subscribe and hit that alert button. It really helps me out. Do what you want. You do you. I hope you had fun watching it. I had fun making it. Hope to see you next time.